So good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, that's the energy. I thought you will be low on energy because normally by 12 o'clock the glucose levels would dip, and that's more scientific an explanation. Fine, it's not because you are disinterested or not wanting to be oriented. We don't want to disorient you also. So it's okay, they want to sleep, so let them. So where do I begin? Today I welcome you on behalf of the Board of Management to the legacy of VIPS. And when I say legacy of VIPS, it means that you have joined in a culture, and I know Subra sir would be able to elaborate much better on what an educational institution culture is all about. And the greatest of companies, in fact, if you look at the books by the greatest of authors on, what makes, companies survive. And I know you're law people, you're nothing to do with business as of now, but then you need to understand there are certain, values in life, which if you kind of imbibe into your own, DNA, you'll be much better human beings than what we expect you to be. So the greatest of companies have one thing in common, and this is a research based on Fortune 500 companies that have survived for more than 100 years. So what it says is that one should be culturally aligned. You should be philosophically aligned with the objectives of an individual. Objective should be aligned with the objectives of the organization. So our objectives are aligned, it seems, that we are offering you law program and you are here to study law program. So that's a perfect alignment that we see. Second is cultural embeddedness, as they say. And when we say cultural embeddedness, it is not just about, something that would be written on the walls here as slogans. It is something that you imbibe by viewing others, how they act, how they behave, how they, demonstrate themselves, and the exhibition of their own model behavior should be inspiring enough for you people to follow the footsteps. And the third is adaptability, how quickly you adapt. So that's from the business side. Coming to the law side of it, the legacy, as I said, legacy is much more. And when legacy becomes much more, we chose Swamiji's name because, yes, Chairman Sir was inspired, initiated by, Ramakrishna order, disciple of the highest order. But then there was much more deeper meaning to what, Swamiji meant to us. He's the youth icon. If you really study him well, you'll be able to understand how inspiring is he in terms of, and the kind of work that he do within the shortest of life that God gave him is an inspiration by itself. It's a journey that I think every individual should strive to, achieve. We are here to learn about law. You'll have enough, as ma'am said, 56, loaded sessions or lectures or, semester-wise breakup. Wonderful. And some of you may kind of drop dead also, given the kind of, hardship that will require you to undergo. But then legacies are not created by being normal, fine? You have to be abnormal in terms of what you're wanting to do. And abnormal has to do with mental state, that you start acting erratic and really behave abnormally. No, that's not what abnormal would mean. Abnormal is that we should be able to ignite your passion. We should be able to ignite your aspiration. You should be able to see a clear vision for this country for next 40 years. This is what I said in a session before this, that you are the next 40 years of this country sitting in this room. You are going to be the best of best when it comes to legal education, when it comes to legal profession. And each one of you should be able to exhibit that in terms of your behavior. Right from dressing up in a court of law, to your mannerism, to your demeanor, to knowing your judges very well, is an art that you learn gradually once you pass out of the portals of this institution. These are informal ways of training. Some of you may have come from good chambers. Some of you may be new and entering this for the first time, but it is your fire within you that will make you great tomorrow. It is what we look for in you. And there are 10,000 plus ballpark figure, I do not have the exact numbers with me, 10,000 odd alumni of VIPS who are already making you proud. We clap for them each day. Each achievement is celebrated here, though they have passed out from these portals, but then they come back to share the good news and the kind of impact that they've been making. So social impact is what we would understand your lives from, and not just mere degrees that you will graduate from. So the impact that you will make in this society is what you will be gazed tomorrow. So don't think that any smaller case or a bigger case, they are all good cases till the time you've given your best. And they should be fought with the best of, armory that you have. Morning I cracked a joke about, how, the language can play an essential role in terms of what you project. Because articulation also is required. It is not just about stating sections and statutes and rules and regulations that will make your argument great. Those are, yes, prerequisites. Your brief, yes, is a prerequisite. But how beautifully you kind of, pearl it up in words is equally important. And morning when I said the difference between, and I want to know it from you also, at the cost of repetition, let it be, what is the difference between finished and complete? Simple words, finished and complete. CLAT, you've cleared your CLAT, you can't give a simple answer. It's a very basic answer. And I know people who would have attended would possibly think we know the answer, but then I would request them to keep quiet for some time. What is the difference? So being not biased towards any gender, if you find the right girl or a boy, fine, your life is complete. If you find a wrong boy or a girl, your life is finished. See the beauty of words? Fine, they may sound similar, they may carry almost a similar meaning, but when used correctly in context, it delivers a very different message altogether. So read as much of literature as you can. That will sharpen your saw in terms of the delivery that you make in the court of law. Before the honorable judges, your word should be able to impress, impact, and create the desired change in their behavior. They will not go above what is stated in the law, but your language makes all the difference. Your mannerism makes all the difference. You will be the blue-eyed boys or the girls of the court if you, conduct yourself in a particular manner. Morning I gave a lot of examples from, corporate world, because that was a BBA LLB batch. But irrespective of the batches that you are from, I think it is equally important for you to understand, as what Dean ma'am said, that there are multiple, future options available to you people. Don't just think about, going to trial courts or to higher courts or any other. The corporate cases that I mentioned, if you look at the amount and the quantum of, impact that they have created, you will possibly wonder as to, there's an ocean, complete ocean out there where you can possibly, think yourself off. So don't think that you are lesser than anybody. I'm still telling you this for the very reason, because anybody who aspired to be in national law universities, fine, is a good thing. But then you are no less till the time you drive the system. You are the ones who will extract the best out of your teachers. They will come to your classrooms. But in case you are not well-read, you are not, educated yourself in terms of what you need to get out of that 50 minutes of lecture, I think it will be a complete loss of time and unfortunate for you people to, think that why we are not getting the best. Teachers and we co-create value. I have always said that it is co-creation of value. It is co-creation of this legacy. Because if students are not vibrant, teachers will also be dull. If teachers are dull, the students would be not vibrant. So it is you people also equally responsible for creating this kind of a robust, system within systems, where you are able to extract and let the teachers be on their toes. I know many of them are scholarly to the extent that you ask them anything on the latest, they will give it to you in no time. Fine. Even if you Google it out, they'll give you a perception and a different perspective to that story altogether. That comes only when the teachers are prepared, and you cannot imagine the time that they spend on a lecture. For a 50-minute lecture, at least 3.5 hours to 4 hours is what it takes of rigorous training. It's not that they don't know, it's because they want to include the latest. And they want you also to be well read so that it becomes a little robust system. The cases that I mentioned in the morning were cases belonging to pharmaceutical industries, how they have cheated us, how many, we all have parents. They all take medications for some reason or the other. Fine. 2 important cases. One was Glaxo. I don't know, the company doesn't exist anymore, or maybe changed its name. Fine. There was a big lawsuit which was filed against them in US. Indian cases don't get reported, to be very honest, on that scale. I am yet to find an archival where we are able to, have a listing of such like cases where we were able to, exactly know what happened in that particular case and what was the damages like. So Glaxo went on to sell a drug, fine, which had claimed that it will cure a particular disease, but then and that was an antidepressant. So anybody with a medical condition of being under depression was prescribed that drug. The clinical trials proved later on that the drug kind of, accelerated, and 627 or whatever percentage was mentioned, it kind of, enhanced the suicidal tendencies in the patient. So what use is it of to a particular patient? You can imagine the kind of damage it was doing. Fine. Another was a diabetic drug, mentioned again, a Japanese firm. Fine. A Japanese firm prescribing for diabetes. Now, diabetes patients are already sensitive, their kidneys are already sensitive. And what you get to know after clinical trials is, advanced clinical trials is, when the litigation is filed, that it causes you colon cancer. So rather than curing one, you get into another problem. Tobacco industry, fine, I know how you must be smokers here. I know at a very young age also, though the pact says smoking kills, it causes cancer now. Earlier that was not the case. The entire lobby of this tobacco companies had doctored the reports and the clinical trials as well. They doctored the entire narrative in the media and said, no, it is completely safe. It doesn't cause you that kind of harm. 206 billion US dollars were awarded in over 25 years, and they almost declared themselves bankrupt. Fine. I had quoted many other examples. Delhi, a report came out, 11 years our life is shortened, given the amount of particulate that is there in the environment. The quality of air that we breathe is shortening our lives. Do you think anybody, any civic authority can be given that right, where rather than give you a quality life, for what they charge you is property tax to road tax to whatnot taxes are being charged from you, and what they deliver instead is something which is 11 years shorter in your life? Is it not criminal? Another example that I gave was of toll roads that you see nowadays. We all buy fast tags, but we do not know that the toll is not just for the road itself. It is for medical facilities to be provided alongside. It is for the breakdown vans to be provided, and a doctor to be made available. Fine. The bumps that you get, the craters that have been created, fine, on those very roads that you're paid for your journey. If you ask any road safety person, expert, will tell you it will be death, almost amounting to death, in case you kind of bump into it at 80 miles an hour. Are we aware of our rights as citizens? And that is what bothers me more, that we are not harbingers of change. We just learn law for the sake of learning law. Fine. And just reading it to pass examinations. If that is your purpose, the legacy will go down, I'm telling you. As I said, we are here to create a legacy. We are here to create something which will have a social impact in life, which will transform somebody's life outside. Maybe your client, maybe somebody, in terms of its larger social impact. Indian Institute of Public Administration Director was here to sign an MOU. They were given this project on Namami Gange. He told us very clearly that look at the economic models that we follow. Anything which has been concretized is available at a premium price. Look at the Delhi property prices or Mumbai property prices. Whereas the breathing spaces that we have, the lungs of, this human existence, forest, the land is easily acquired, and there was a latest amendment which was made in environmental laws to facilitate industrialization and whatnot. Are we aware? So what we see in students like you is that any policy initiative by the government, they're wanting to change 3 laws, they have renamed them, wanting it to be, because they said that it's more colonial in mind, fine. But then what exactly are they wanting to change? Are you aware as citizens what is being changed? How will it impact you people? How is it going to impact your future generations? So if you're not sensitive, if you're not, much beyond reading it in the textbook, I think you will not be doing justice to the seat that has been offered to you. And it's a privilege, prestige to be admitted in VIPS. And as far as I can say, I should not be self-trumpeting it, but then that's the confidence and courage that we have in ourselves and in our faculty and in the legacy that we have created. So we kind of, request each one of you that you keep adding the number of years to our life. An institution, they say, is for, eternity. And that can only survive in case you rekindle this and take it forward as a lighting lamp. Fine? With those words, I would like to thank you for your attention and time. And some of you have squatted down. Thank you so much for the patience. Much appreciated. Thank you.